Hey, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours. Happy Friday. Welcome. I hope your week has been a good one. And for many of you are heading into the holiday week, which I'm sure will be a nice time for you and your family, relax, and maybe get a little bit of work done too. Welcome everybody to Office Hours. We'll get this party started here in just one moment. If you can hear me and see me okay, please go ahead and chat in and let me know. Hello, Mr. A.T. Williams. Good to see you, sir. Happy Friday. I am going to head over to our private community here and see what questions we have in the community. And for those of you who are potentially new to Office Hours is pure Q&A. I don't have any agenda other than to try and answer questions. So if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat on the right-hand side here. And I'm also going to, as I said, pull them from the group. And then finally, I will put an invite link into the comments here momentarily. That invite link will allow you to hop on camera and have a conversation with me if you'd like. So if there's something that you'd like to discuss that needs more context, or, just a little more complicated, things like that, then you can hop on camera and we can do that. So just let me know any questions that you have, and I'm going to do my best. So let's see here. Right now, I want to make sure first, before we get this going, that you guys can see me and hear me. I'm not seeing any see you and hear you comments coming in yet. So please let me know. That way I don't start this thing and find out that I'm talking into hey, Sean, good to see you, sir. All right, looks like we're moving. Go ahead and pull this up on my iPad and make sure as well. All right, cool, awesome. Thank you. All right, perfect, great. Comments are coming in. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Jamie. Awesome. Mauricio, awesome. Look very blurry though. Uh-oh, do I look very blurry to other people, or is it on Jeff's side? Welcome. Awesome. Good. Let's see here. Let me know. Somebody else wouldn't mind let me know how image quality is. If I need to refresh, which is what we did last time, that seemed to work. Also going to go ahead and prioritize this computer on my network. Okay, it's blurry everywhere. All right, let me prioritize this device on my network here real quick, and then I'll do a little refresh. Tim Pepper said he thought it was his contacts. 1 second here. So I've got this device prioritized. So let's give it a minute here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh, and then I will come right back. So my apologies for any technical difficulties here. All right, let me try this. Jeff says he wiped his glasses off too. All right. All right. Now, how are we doing? Image getting any better? Matt says, looks like the Tyson Paul fight. Oh boy. James, hello, welcome, sir. We're just trying to get through some technical glitches here to see if Sean says he's 2 gin and tonics down, so it could just be on his end. It's the same, huh? Same. Shoot. Well, I don't know, gang. I don't know what to do about that. It sounds like now most people are saying better. All right. Well, shit. Technology. We'll give it a shot. Okay, it looks like it's better for some people, so that's good. Let's go ahead and just get rolling. So first of all, for those of you who are in our online community, okay, perfect. Looks like it cleared up. Good. So for those of you who are in our online community, you may have received the message here in the last 24 hours that we are migrating to using High Levels online communities. I actually don't know where we are in the process of that. I have to check with my team. So you could be in two communities right now, and if that's at all frustrating, I apologize. But I believe that the intent is here within just the next handful of days, we will be moved over to the High Level community full time. And we're trying to eat our own dog food around here. Of course, if I'm recommending to you guys that you're using High Level, and I'm recommending to my customers that they're using High Level, we are trying to use High Level to its fullest extent. And that's kind of the one area of our business that is not on High Level yet. So we're making that move right now. And it's going to be cool to test that out. High Level is making a big investment in their community features. So I think it's going to be a win. And it's amazing the number of tools that I've been able to cancel and not have to pay for since making the switch, moving everything in my business over to High Level. So that will be another one. So in the meantime, though, I am going to pull some questions from the Circle community, and that may mean that I might miss some questions in our new community, but I will get to those. Okay, Andy Smalley says, I've noticed some resistance when discussing marketing systems with B2B companies, and the topic or questions about CRMs crop up. For some reason, my prospects' minds automatically veer towards me trying to sell them a new CRM, which I have zero interest in going down that road, just makes the cycle go longer. Any suggestions on how to frame the conversation presentation to lighten or eliminate the resistance? That's a great question, Andy. I think that, it may be the case that if you're selling B2B, that language of systems, you may want to experiment with some different words potentially. Although I don't think so. My gut tells me that it's more in just the explanation of the details of what we mean by systems, rather than having to come up with new words. It's a good question. It's interesting. I think that driving the conversation around the activities, the automations, things like that you're going to be putting in place, the A's, right? Assets, activities, and automation that you're going to be putting in place for your customers, I think is probably where that conversation needs to go. That's my hunch, but that's an interesting one. I mean, I don't know that there's any magic answer. I think it's just a matter of experimenting. And I'm actually fascinated by this because I find when selling, and in particular when you're selling something that has any degree of complexity to it, I have found that it's incredibly important to experiment with your language and test, because oftentimes just subtle differences in the way that you phrase things, the way that you structure that communication can make a real big difference in how people hear it and accept it and are influenced by it. So it's an interesting topic to me. I just don't know that I have a good answer for you, other than I do think that the conversation should be more about the assets, activities, automation, less about the tools, which is something that I've always stressed with you guys, less about the tools. Maybe that helps pull the conversation in that direction. And then I think you just need to make sure that you have a crisp response for when that prospect turns the conversation to, oh, we don't need another CRM. I think that you just need to make sure that you have a nice dialed in response to, oh, that's not what I'm referring to. Here's what I'm referring to. So that you can hopefully just kind of nip that in the bud very quickly. See, David says, training and sales structure for sales teams. A question about, did we talk about this one? No, we didn't talk about this last office hours. Okay. I have a question about the way to go for training my new sales team that will start out 100% commission. I was initially thinking to have no upfront cash commitment from the customer and get reps to sign up a bunch of 7-day free trials. I feel like I answered this. Anyway, I'll answer it again and focus on quantity with a strong onboarding process. I was going to pay reps 50% of initial sale and 25% of 6-month subscription. I'm now watching your training on collecting upfront cash, and I'm wondering if this is the approach I should take instead and pay reps less commission, but have bigger deal sizes and less recurring customer signups. Any insight would be great. Okay, cool. So David, I know I answered this someplace, but I think this is a good one to discuss here with the group because this is a really important one. So when I started Everon, my IT services company, we started that. I brought on one full-time salesperson, but then we ended up having at one point like 100% commission sales reps working for us. And that was obviously fantastic from a cash leverage perspective, but also presents a lot of challenges. You know, when you're bringing on 20 people that aren't getting a paycheck, but you still need to fully train them, give them all the tools and resources they need to be successful, give them the support that they need to be successful, and then hope that, you know, they can get enough deal flow going that the cash will come and we'll be able to support them. It's a pretty challenging balance to strike in terms of how you structure your deals to make sure that you can give them the cash that they need and also be able to give your business the cash that it needs. Growth requires cash. Growth consumes cash in almost all cases. But particularly when it comes to having to hire a sales force, it's expensive. Salespeople are very expensive. So specifically, David's asking about if I were to sell a deal that has some sort of setup fee or upfront fee, whatever you want to call it, and let's say that that's a $1,500 fee, a $2,500 fee, and then has the recurring component, you're going to slow down your sales velocity, right? You're going to slow down your sales velocity by having that fee upfront versus having no fee upfront and just letting them just sign up. Okay. So slowing down your sales velocity is not necessarily a bad thing because, as I just said, growth consumes cash. And so if you are either bringing on customers quickly and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't even know that I can onboard this many, I don't know that I can hire the right support team for this many, then adding some price resistance up front will slow down that deal flow a little bit. It will also give you more cash to invest into those things, support, training, all that good stuff. So that could be nice to have that upfront fee and slow it down. We got to the point at Everon where our goal was just to bring on 4 to 6 really good new customers every month. At 4 to 6 really good new customers every month, we were adding, 7 figures a year to our top line. And that was all we needed. And if we went more than that 6, we went to 10, we would be stressing all of the systems on our team so much that it would get to the point of almost breaking. And so we would have to make a big investment in people and other resources to be able to make that leap to sign on more customers. That's a decision to make. Obviously we could capitalize on more growth opportunity if we're more aggressive with that investment. But what we said instead was, let's just make this a really healthy cash flow positive lifestyle business. And let's charge upfront and bring on fewer customers, but make sure that they're really, really good customers. We had good demand generation going by that point. So we could use that upfront cash then to give to our salespeople. We experimented with a lot though with that because we experimented with having the upfront fee and giving 100% of that upfront fee to our salesperson. So, hey, look, whatever upfront fee we're charging, you just get it. $2,500 setup fee is $2,500 in your pocket. That helped a lot. Okay. We also did no setup fees. And then what I would do is for the first, let's say 3 recurring payments, I would give them 100% of that recurring payment. So the first 3 months that customer was with us, I got no cash for my business. It all went to the salesperson. So there's pros and cons to each of those. And I think it primarily comes down to where you are in terms of growth. So are you bringing on enough customers that it's straining your ability to keep up with them? And if it is, then you can slow it down by putting some fees up front, raising some prices. If you're saying no, I just need to get momentum, then ideally you would lower those upfront barriers as much as possible, but you still need to be able to pay something upfront to those salespeople, or they almost surely will not survive. So there are very few 100% commission sales reps that are going to come on and sell for you that are just sitting on, 7 figures at home and going, yeah, it's okay. I can take my time. I can slowly build up this cash flow. No big deal. Right? Most of them are hungry. Most of them are hungry and they need to get cash. And so whether or not you're doing that through an upfront fee, or you're doing that by you just front loading some of those recurring payments, that's really a matter of your cash. What do you have? Right? So if you're sitting on some cash and you can say, yeah, I can keep that upfront fee down and still afford to give my customer, though, a commission as if they got an upfront fee, then that could be to your advantage to really get things moving. So it's really up to your cash situation, to determine that. And then the other thing I would just say is make sure that you've looked at some of my presentations and training on how to structure your packages in multiple different ways to maximize cash flow and maximize recurring revenue. So, there's a handful of ways when you present your recurring revenue services. You can say, there's an upfront fee and then recurring, or you can say if that upfront fee is a barrier to you coming on board, customer, the cash, that's too much cash out of your pocket up front. What we can do is we can essentially finance that upfront fee by getting a 2-year agreement with you. So if you'll give us a 2-year agreement, we'll just kind of build that, we'll finance that, or you could even waive that upfront fee into the agreement. Okay. Or kind of some combination of the two. We'll lower the upfront fee, and you give us an agreement type of thing. So there's ways to present your packages so that it's going to be a win for you, regardless of which version of that they pick. It's going to be a win for you. So I don't recommend that you ever just present one scenario. You can present options, and each of those options is good. Each of those options is fair to both parties. And that allows you to then maximize both the cash that you're collecting and the recurring revenue. And I'm sorry, the third scenario there is that they can prepay. So if you're not selling prepaying, you're missing out on cash for sure. Everybody should be presenting the option to prepay and get a discount. Okay. This is one of the big lessons from HubSpot's growth. HubSpot's growth and the quality of their customers. If you read their book from their head of sales for the first 100 million in sales, he said what completely changed the trajectory of their business was when they started selling prepayment of a year in advance. Okay, so they started saying, "Hey, customers, it's $500 a month. That's $6,000, but it's $5,000. You pay upfront for the year. It's $5,000. So that's a discount of $1,000 off of the full amount that you would pay." And what that did was a couple things. One, it gave them the cash upfront to be able to better compensate their salespeople, make sure they're doing better onboarding, all that good stuff. Two, it got them more qualified, higher quality customers because of 2 reasons. One, they had the cash to prepay. And two, what they found is that the customers, when they prepay for the year, they're much, much more committed to actually using the service, making sure they get onboarded properly, making sure their employees are bought in. So charging upfront for the year was a major turning point for HubSpot. So we all need to take advantage of that lesson as well. Okay, so you have 3 ways that you can present your deals every time that are going to give you some good combination of cash. The first one is you got an upfront fee plus regular recurring. Second one is you somehow either waive that upfront fee or bake it into the agreement with a 2-year agreement. So now you've got them locked up for 2 years. So now you've got 2 years of consistent cash flow you can count on. And the third one is give them a discount, but get them to prepay up front. That's 3 very fair options. And depending on the customer that you're dealing with, one of those is probably going to be much more appealing, but all of them are a win for you. There's no scenario there that's a lose for you. Okay. So those 3 scenarios give you different cash flow capability with your salespeople that, again, you need to figure out what's, based on your cash that you have available in your business. But I hope that helps kind of give you some options there. Let's see here. I'm going to grab a couple of other questions out of the group here. Charles and Linda says, hey, we received these emails. Yes, those are invites to our new group. Invites to the new high level group. Yeah. So my apologies to anybody who got those emails and were confused. Our team was supposed to notify you that we were doing this. I thought that they did, but maybe didn't get out there. Okay, D Knott says, I've set up my resell offer and not sure how this works in sub-accounts. Can the sub-account admin activate this on their own, or am I activating it for them? I'm wondering because the customize your plan says only visible to agency users. D, I'm not sure if you're on this call. If you are, please let me know because I'm not sure I understand that question. Tim Morris posted in the group that Sean from High Level just announced that there are 60 new voices for AI, for voice AI. That's so cool. Okay, yeah, we put a big group post in here that says we're moving new community space and go high level. I think that might have been the only place that we posted that. So sorry if you guys didn't see that. All right, let's get the questions here in the comments. Let's see. Yes, Juan, that's why you got all those emails yesterday. Is Go High Level going to have a Black Friday offer? Yes, they sure are, Colin. I will be sending out a message on that ASAP. Okay. I want to be known as the review management guy when doing local in-person events. What's your advice when presenting myself so they understand I also build marketing systems and websites? I think that on your website, AT, you can very easily demonstrate that you are, a guru at reviews, but also that there are other things that you do, that review management system and process is part of a greater set of marketing systems. Okay. So going back to the R6, if this is one portion of that overall R6 system. Okay. So I don't think that there's any problem in being able to communicate that by showing, hey, here's our review management capability. And that's one piece of this overall system. Okay. Now, from a marketing and branding perspective, people's brains tend to latch on to one thing and only be able to kind of hang on to one thing, right? That's the real power of branding, is that if you can lock up that set of words or images or whatever in somebody's brain, then that's a very powerful position to be in. So if you truly want to lock up that you are the review management guy, and you said when doing local in-person events. If it's when doing local in-person events specifically, then I think while you're at that event, the information that you're sharing, the business card that you have, whatever, maybe you want all of that to be about review management, and whatever URL that they're hitting, you're taking them to a review management URL on your site. But I think the decision as to whether or not you want to own that positioning even more broadly in your marketplace, I think if that's the case, then when it's got to be more like Clay with Review Harvest yesterday. It's like when people hit your site, they need to see that you are a review service provider. Like if you really want to own that position, then I think you've got to take the approach like Clay did, where you go all in on it. Do we still have his? Let me see if I have his website up. Yeah, I do. Hold on one second. Let me share that. He's done a really just a fantastic job with this. And so you can see his site. Everything from his name to, all of this information on this site is all about reviews and how he gets you more reviews and the process and the happy people and all that good stuff. So if you're going to go, that hard on it, I think, you need to get really focused like this. Okay. I'm kicking myself for missing the interview with Clay. Well, AT, it's up there. So it's on my YouTube channel. So just go watch it. He was a really, really generous, open book in terms of sharing, how he's doing what he's doing in this business. I think there's a lot to gain from listening to the conversation for everybody, whether or not you're focused on reviews. I think that there's a lot to gain by listening to that interview. What platform is the new members community built on? GHL. Yes, absolutely, Dorn. Yep, we're doing it through Go High Level, eating our own dog food. Would Boomerang be a good $97 a month foot in the door offer and increase the price with usage? Torn between offering that and the AI employee as the one intro offer to focus on. Yeah, I mean, man, they're both very good, Matt. I think, I honestly don't know that I have a strong opinion as to one or the other. I mean, I think that they're both super compelling. I think that the Boomerang system, the nice thing about that is I think that pretty much every business that you would present it to would get the value of it, not question the value of it. You'll be able to demonstrate the value very quickly. And I think that with voice AI, in particular, I think that there's going to be a number of small businesses that resist it at first. There just are, no matter how compelling it is. So Josh, exactly. Josh said AI employees probably scare 90% of the businesses in my area. Yeah. So I think that that's true. I still think, voice AI is just going to be a killer offer. There's going to be a little bit more education. It's going to be a little bit slower pickup on it from some of those, a little bit more old school traditional businesses. But it's going to be a ridiculous service. So, one versus the other, Matt, I don't know. I think if you are considering specifically who you're selling to and how important phones are to them, because there's a lot of businesses out there that, they've kind of just done away with any phone communication, right? It's like message us on social, send us an email, whatever, right? So, I think that's another factor to consider. Okay. Oh yeah. Let me put in the invite link here, guys. Sorry. Here is the invite link. And I'm going to give just warning here as well that I have to end this sharply at 12 because I have a meeting I have to run to. So, yes, Colin, hop on there. We'll chat. Tony says Clay is great. He certainly is. Super impressed by him. As a follow-up on my review management, you're suggesting in addition to my main agency website, I have a separate site for my review service. I would not actually recommend that, AT, unless you are really fully committed to marketing, both of those sites, or actually, if you have a main agency website and then you're going to go build a second website specifically focused on a service, I would only do that if you're planning on putting real firepower behind the marketing of that new site. Okay. Like if you said, yeah, I've decided I really want to focus on reviews. I still want to have an agency website as kind of a backup so that when people want more information about me or whatever, I can still point to that and say, this is a service of such and such agency. I think that that's fine. But if you are going to go through the effort of building a new website just for that specific review service, I think that you've got to be committed to, hey, this is important enough to me that I'm going to put my marketing firepower behind this site. Otherwise, why build it? Just have a landing page on your existing site, put up a nice, review management landing page. Like that's enough. And then you're not splitting your resources and all that good stuff. Okay. Colin.
I'm here. Testing 1, 2.
Yep, you're good.
Oh, good.
How can I help you?
I'm actually down in Mexico, so I'm in a makeshift office at the moment.
Oh, good for you.
And I'm still learning sort of my go high level chops. I haven't upgraded to the 297 or the 497, which is my plan.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk. I think you and I talked a while back about a niche, and I'm in the music business, and I had a creative design company for many years.
Yep.
But the question I have today is, I was just having coffee. It's ironic, and overhearing two guys talking, and they are from Paris, France, and they're here in Mexico working with a stem cell company, and they want to export to clinics and doctors around the world. Plus, they want to build a client base of their own. And so I mentioned that, with medical tourism and stuff like that, I asked them, what's a customer worth, and how do you get your leads, and what are you kind of missing? And they said, well, we need a website, and we need follow up, and we need AdWords, and we need all these things. And I said, well, I think I might have a solution for you. So my question is they want a presentation. I don't want to present them with a tool so much as I think they need to see a bigger picture.
Yeah.
My question is, how would you present that? How would you brand the SaaS or the done for you service? Or, should I get them to white label something for them, for their doctors? Or a lot of questions, but it's fresh in my mind. And so I'm very curious to see how you would approach that if you heard two guys talking and they needed some help.
Yeah, cool. I would present my R6 framework, which, if you're not familiar with my R6 framework, it's just a couple of simple. I would present my R6 system, which is composed of a couple of frameworks to explain what marketing is, and then to show them what a complete marketing system would look like to be able to support their growth goals. And I would then say that is what we do. We implement these marketing systems for businesses like yours. And part of that system is the tools, but also what we're providing on top of that is the assets and automation and activities that you need to actually make these marketing systems run at your business. So you need a website, you need landing pages, you need follow-up campaigns, you need all of that to be set up and active and automated so that it's working on your behalf. You don't want to just sit down with a set of tools and have to create all that from scratch. We put all of that in place for you. So that's what I would present, and that's what I would put in place for them. And then, the details about the white labeling and things like that, to me, that would be down the road after I essentially have them at least 95% committed to, oh yeah, we're working with you, we're happy with what you're talking about. Those are just kind of technical details, because you could do it either way. You could white label the platform yourself and have that be the brand that all of these doctors are using. You could theoretically create a version of this that was set up for them to white label to other doctors that they're going to be working with and have a brand that they want. I mean, there's multiple ways to do that. That's just a matter of implementation.
Would making a custom presentation for that niche be of value?
If you're going to go down the road on that niche, yes. I mean, like if you say, hey, this is a niche that I'm going to stick with, then yeah, I'd put together a custom presentation for them. But you could take those R6 frameworks and present them to anybody. It doesn't matter what business they're in at all. So if I was just testing the waters in that niche, I wouldn't bother with putting together a custom presentation.
Okay, cool. One other question with regards to that. I know that their customers are pretty high value clients. Like they spend a lot of money. So is there any framework around a done for you service package versus a commission on sales to their customers, big setup fee, like you mentioned, that HubSpot does? Being in San Diego, you must know a lot of these types of plastic surgeons and medical doctors and stem cell people. What's sort of the industry norm in that respect? Or is it just simple, give them a package and put them on a monthly fee?
I mean, so, and specifically, I just want to make sure I understand. You're asking, like, should you structure it so that you could potentially get commission from the sales that are happening from the system? Is that what you're saying?
Some of the leads, yeah.
So I think that there's a number of different approaches. One is to sell leads. So we generate leads for you, and each lead is worth $375. And so the nice thing about that model is that you can really scale your income. The downside of that model is it tends to be very high turnover, because as you scale your income, those doctors look at you and go, holy cow, I just cut this guy a check for 20 grand for leads this month. And they may not have the financial maturity or measurement to know that that was actually a really good investment for them. So lead generation is a notoriously high turnover business. Not saying that you can't make it work, you could. There is also the model out there that you hear people tout where they say, I'm going to work with you. Your average customer is worth, $50,000, and I'm going to take the responsibility of going out and marketing for you, and I get a $10,000 commission, for those customers. That is mostly BS. That is mostly stuff that you hear from internet marketers selling you on joining their high ticket program, where they're going to tell you how you can make infinite money because there's no limit to your upside and yada yada. And it's like I said, it's mostly BS. There's not a lot of cases out there where that actually works. And the reason why should be relatively obvious, but there's a couple real reasons why. One, most people aren't just sitting around waiting for a business partner to come along that they can just go share a bunch of their profits with and stuff like that. Two is that, again, from a measurement perspective and stuff like that, you're going to have to get into their business to know, are they actually even paying you what they're supposed to be paying you? Like, how are we going to be tracking sales? How are we going to be tracking recurring customers? Like, somebody would really have to decide to get into bed with you to do that. I don't know any smart, sensible business owner that, you come along and give a presentation that would just go, oh yeah, I'm in for that. So it's just a really sketchy value proposition. Versus if you just say, hey, these systems are X dollars a month and run your business. You do your thing. Here's how much you pay, for our system. It's $5,000 to set up, and it's $997 a month, or whatever it is that you come up with that's fair in that space. That's a straightforward model that is proven, works. It's built multi-billion-dollar companies in terms of the HubSpots of the world and all that type of stuff. And for whatever reason, people still want to fight it and think that they're going to come up with some clever, better way. But to me, that's the model that makes the most sense and is the most proven.
Would you give them an assistant for implementation along with their monthly fee?
Well, I think there's varying degrees of done for you versus do it yourself. I personally think that in the space that you're talking about, like that, absolutely, I would put together a almost entirely done for you offer for them and make that at least an option. That's kind of a premium service. But I would expect that almost every small business that we're selling to needs us to execute this stuff for them. They are not going to sit down and execute it. Even if you give them all the keys to the kingdom, they're too busy. They're too busy doing whatever else it is that they're doing at their business. They're not professional marketers. They're not looking to be professional marketers in most cases. That's why they're having this conversation with you.
Exactly. Well, thank you. That's been very valuable. And it sort of goes along the lines of what I was thinking. But as I kind of marinate on the conversation, I'm trying to think, how can I not go and present a bunch of features, but understand what they're trying to accomplish, and how can I sort of backfill that information so that they go, yeah, that's exactly what we want. And I don't think they have any problem stroking checks there. Seem to have pretty high level clientele.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I mean, those are industries that should be, making good money, and you should be able to provide very clear, very, very clear upside to them. They should be able to see, oh wow, yeah, if we had better follow-up marketing going on, and we only got an extra 5% of our customer base to then, decide to come back and do more procedures with us or whatever it is, that's very, very valuable for them and pays for your service many times over. And Colin, are you familiar with the R6 frameworks or no?
Just in general terms, I mean, I've read your website like 30 times. I
Okay,
haven't committed to anything like solid until I kind of get a sense of how to work the go high level. And I had signed up to 97 before I even met you. So the affiliate that I'm sort of under at the moment, there's some stuff and some, yes, I think I have seen.
Yeah. So cool. I just wanted to share this real quick, just so people understand what it is when I'm trying to take the mystery out of what you present to your customers. If you sit down with a small business owner, 95% of them do not have a clear definition of marketing, and they certainly do not have any sense of how would I structure marketing at my business to be most effective. And so if all you do is you have this one framework in your mind that you can say, hey, marketing has lots of different definitions. You'll hear some people talk about advertising. You'll hear some people talk about it's all social media these days. Here's how we think about marketing. It's these three major stages: attract, convert, and retain. We need to attract more customers, or we need to attract more prospects, convert them into customers, and retain them and keep them coming back as customers as long as we can. Those are our three major stages, three major goals of these marketing systems. And then below that, you see the keys to success in each, and that's where the 6 R's come in. And so in order to attract more people to us, we need to reach more people. This is advertising, creating content, things like that. And we need our reputation to be a positive one. If we have a bad reputation out there, it's not really going to help that we're reaching more people, because we have that bad reputation. It's not going to attract people to us. So we need that combination of both of those things. And both of those things are very influenceable by marketing systems. Okay. So that's attract. Convert, we need to be ready to convert. We need to pick up our phones. We need to respond to prospects when they're messaging us, that type of stuff, just basic readiness. And then remarketing, we need to acknowledge that not everybody becomes a customer right away. And in fact, the far majority of people do not become a customer right away. So we've got to continue marketing to them to increase our conversion. That's follow up and things like that. And then finally, in retain, reliability and reselling. Reliability, Mr. Customer, that's your part. Reliability refers to how reliable of a customer service experience do you deliver to your customers. When they come into your restaurant, is it hot, fresh food every time? Or is it hot, fresh food a third of the time? And then 2/3 of the time, the food isn't very good and the bathrooms are dirty? That's an unreliable experience, and that's going to cost you business. People are not going to continue coming back. And then we need to have systems in place to resell them, continue reselling those customers, bring them back in, making offers, tell them, hey, it's your birthday. We'd love to have you back in, that type of thing. Those are our 6 R's. So that's just a very brief, that's my R6. What you've done is you've now positioned yourself as a guide. You are now explaining to them what marketing is and what these core keys to success of this marketing system are. And then the next step is you're essentially saying, this is what we do. We put the marketing systems in place to optimize these 6 R's to attract, convert, and retain for you. Okay, so that's it. That's the gist of it.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
You bet. Good luck. Keep us posted.
I definitely will.
Enjoy Mexico.
I'll watch for it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Colin. Kyle, my man. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good, Mike. How are you doing?
Good. Tell me what's up.
Awesome. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, la 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 la. See here. Okay. So I basically want to.
You're sharing craziness on your screen.
Yeah, I want your feedback as to whether this is a good idea, a bad idea, or if there's maybe something else I should be considering. So this is basically our 5 5-step system for restaurants, right?
Mhm.
Getting like they're all just outcome-based systems. And what I would like to do is I want to splinter off each one of these into their like very own standalone products.
Yeah.
And I want to do that like, and I think AT was asking, but I am talking about like building, like right here, you can see I'm building Reputation Accelerator. It's its own brand. It's going to be its own thing. It's not just a landing page on the site. And the reason for that is because I figure, well, products build brands, and that'll help us build the moat. And I'm not like this for me, I'm thinking like, at least 10 years. So I'll build out Reputation Accelerator, drive the hell out of that for 1 to 3 years. And then, then maybe we'll go over to, we'll build the great event and catering attraction machine for restaurants, and that'll be its own thing. And, we'll dial that in for 1 to 3 years or whatever. I don't know about the timelines, but, and so basically I want your feedback as to, whether that's a good approach, bad approach, or if there's maybe something any blind spots.
I mean, I love the approach of having these each be separate products. Mm-hmm. And I love then how you could bundle them together and give people a deal, and hey, you get all 5 of them, and yada yada. Now you have mm-hmm. the complete system at your business. So I love that in general. I question, but you know this more than I do, and I think it's important that you're going, if you're going after specific customers or whatever, then great. But I question having the catering one being the first one.
That's just usually when we start with restaurants. The first one is the Reputation Accelerator. That's what I'm going to start with. We usually start with that with restaurants because it's just the highest ticket thing. So it's where we're the most likely to be. If we're charging, $1,500 a month or whatever, that's like the thing where we have the greatest chance of making the economics work.
Right.
So
I get that. And so as long as the restaurants that you're dealing with are set to be able to take on that kind of business and be successful right away, and you're not like changing you're not pushing them to change how they operate, then I think that's fine. But I agree with you. Like you're saying, the reputation is the more like, initial, so anyway, in terms of setting them up as like really separate, I mean, you're suggesting setting up as separate sites and marketing them as separate sites. Again, it's just, to me, it's almost entirely just a matter of resources. So if you can do that and you can market them the way that you want to market them and make sure and give them the time and attention to make it worth your while, I think that's great.
Okay.
Yeah. If you find that you're going to struggle with that, which I have personally found that it's a struggle to keep up with when you start creating, these multiple assets, they just, it's like the amount of effort, really goes up. It's not like, I just peel these out into separate things and, it's easy peasy. It tends to be that there's, additional effort and time and money that has to go into it. So if you find that that's not something that you're doing a good job keeping up with, I would bring it back all just as one thing and just, have a landing page for, mm-hmm. and just drive traffic to that landing page, but just keep it as simple as possible.
Okay. Awesome. I think that's all I have.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Keep me posted. Let me know how it's going.
Okay. Well, thanks very much.
All right. Good to see you. All right. Let's see here. I'm just starting out. Says Tomas, either one. Welcome, and still learning the platform. What do you think is the best acquisition system to start with, and who to target? Everyone, or what niche do you suggest? This is so if you get into my free training on, I have a high level agency fast start training that you can get. It's free. I go into a presentation on niche selection in there, and this is a super, super common question. The short answer is there's no easy answer. And so I wish I could just tell you, just go into this niche, but it should be based on a variety of factors that are in that presentation. Okay. Do you have any experience with anything in particular? Are you going to be selling just in your local market or nationally or internationally? Is there a market that you are particularly passionate about, that you care about? Are there existing channels to be able to target that market? Is there proof of success in that market? Do you have any competitive advantage in that market? there's all these factors that you should consider rather than just me telling you a market. Okay. So you really need to do that homework. And then the best acquisition system to start. So the best acquisition system is to put value added content out into the marketplace that has a call to action that brings people to a landing page where they can opt in to get additional value, and then ultimately, ideally, end up in contact with you, booking a call on your calendar or whatever it is, with you understanding that you're going to need to do follow up on all of that. This is not just going to come into your lap and people are just going to jump onto your calendar and can't wait to talk to you. Okay. You're going to have to do follow up. You're going to have to, chase people down. That's the chase formula that I've been advocating for a good 15 years out there doing follow up marketing. But the proven system for attracting customers in today's world is content. Content is the engine of how business happens today, right? So you want to put good, valuable content out there. I'm talking blog posts, presentations, YouTube videos, and content on Instagram, doing live presentations. And you want to do as much of that as you reasonably can, given your resources and your budget and your time. And then any other time that you want to spend doing some cold prospecting, I would say cold email, because it can be automated and can be one-to-many. Cold social messaging, because it really shouldn't need to be cold. You should be connecting with people on social media and then messaging them. Don't just do pure cold blast. And then very last on that list would be cold calling. To me, you can fill the rest of your time doing those activities after you've put together some content and put it out into the marketplace. Fantastic. But that's the best acquisition system. And so I say all that. That sounds like a lot. And the answer is it is. And if you go listen to the interview that I did with Clay this week, that we've referred to already on this call several times, Clay, is doing a great job growing his business. And you ask him, hey, what's your sales process? What's working? And he's like, I just kind of do everything. He's like, if I see somebody that I can get in touch with email, I email them. If I see somebody I can get in touch with on social media, I message them on social media. I'm posting content on Instagram. I'm, posting content here and there. I'm, so it's like, I'm just doing everything. And that is reality. It is a very full contact sport. You've got to just be active. You've got to be making as many contact points with as many people as you can. Now, over time, if you get really dialed in on a specific niche and you get really dialed in on a specific value proposition, can you then just run ads to that value proposition, to a simple landing page, right into a sales funnel, and have that be just like a nice, consistent flow? Yes, you absolutely can. You should not expect that day one, because you're still trying to figure out even who you're selling to. You've got to figure out who you're selling to, what that value proposition is that you're going to use to connect with them. And then, if there is a awesome, super automated funnel that you can put in place to just print customers, it can happen. I have a couple of agencies that I work with that are, they've got a very specific value proposition and a very specific niche that they're running ads to, and it takes them straight to a landing page. The person watches a video, they book a call, and the chase starts to turn that call into a customer, and it's a nice high percentage close rate. So can that work? Absolutely. But it's usually that people are doing a variety of things to get their message out there and attracting people to them. Okay. Let's see here. Josh says, A.T. Williams, what I did was name my review offering as it's my main foot in the door, then send them to a funnel page on my site. Yep. I love that. Anyone having early success with AI employee? Good question, Darren. Decided to focus on my core system instead of the AI employee. I think the system owners in my area will respond better. The business owners in my area will respond better to my core system and resist the employee in Kansas. I think it's good to listen to your gut, AT. Been pushing it, but getting the same resistance. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of that. I think for a period of time here. I think another 6 months in most, well, certainly in any bigger urban markets like San Diego's and LA's and Chicago's, businesses are going to be adopting this stuff fast. But I think if you're in smaller markets, a little more rural markets, things like that, it's going to take a little bit longer time. Then again, they don't trust advertising exactly. Review management. What do you do when customers don't have an existing list? I mean, AT, the reality is you're just not going to be able to get them results as quickly. So you can still put the system in place, and the system is going to start filling based on their new customers that are coming in the door, or whatever. But the nice thing is, if they do have an existing list, then you can immediately send out a request for reviews and accelerate the visible ROI to the customer very quickly. But if they don't have a list, they don't have a list. And you may just have to decide, is that somebody that you want to work with? And the way you decide that, you have a conversation with them and you say, look, you don't have an existing list. So what we need to do is we need to put a system in place that gets this process going for you. Starts building your list and asking for reviews. And you just got to understand that it's going to take a little bit of time to build up its effectiveness, because we've got to build that database and that communication with your customers. And they should go, yeah, we better get started, right? This makes sense. If they don't have that response and they're fighting you on it, and, well, can't you just give me a bunch of reviews fast? You should walk away. Okay, it's not a great customer. Lisa says, how do you suggest doing sales presentations? Live, Zoom, personalized video? I would do a combination, Lisa, of ideally doing one-to-many presentations. So running webinars in your market and having a weekly webinar or a monthly webinar or whatever it is, so you can deliver your message to a lot of people at the same time. And then from that presentation, driving people to a sales process where you will give them a shorter, more personalized presentation. They've already seen the main presentation, so they should be fairly well versed in sold, so that we can shorten the time on that personalized presentation. And I would do that in person. I mean, not in person, over the phone, over a computer, over Zoom, or whatever is your choice of, tool that you want to use there. Doesn't really matter, but doing that one-on-one and keeping that presentation pretty darn short, 20 minutes, that type of thing. And then leaving the rest of that time for a conversation and ideally closing the deal. Okay. Awesome. I'm glad, sir. Keep me posted if there's any other questions I can answer for you. Okay. John says, using restaurants as a niche, just for an example, what would the minimum go high level tools you would offer? Okay. So I wouldn't focus on tools, but I would, let's see here, for a restaurant, there's a handful of things. So missed call, text back, AI, voice are huge opportunities. I would have a review, capture review management system. I would most likely Yoast to make sure that we're keeping our information up to date. I would have a some sort of list build and follow up. Doing that around their birthday is an easy one. So the whole birthday funnel and birthday offer, and that way you have a reason to communicate with them every year and bring them back in and all that good stuff. And then text messaging. Yeah, Johnny. What's up, Johnny? Good to see you. So he's saying text is huge for our marketing. Absolutely. So building up, again, that list so that you're just making sure that you're getting offers out to them. Get them in the habit of making offers consistently to their market to bring people back in. Huge opportunity. The universal inbox. So if they have that inbox connected to all their social accounts and connected to email, SMS, and stuff like that, so that they can actually make sure that they're communicating and following up with their prospects and customers, or their customer base and their community on a regular basis, I think is really valuable. Again, though, all of these things, John, I would be expecting that the majority of this I would do as a done for you style service rather than a do it yourself. So a service versus tools. Okay. Of course, the tools are going to be incorporated here, of course, but I would expect that you are, doing the management of this for them. Okay. All right, everybody. As I said, I have to run to a meeting, so I've got to get out of here. Thank you so much for being here on your Friday. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a part of my community and for your business. I hope you got some helpful stuff out of this call. Please, if you haven't yet, go and check out that interview with Clay Lawrence that I did earlier this week. I think he just did a fantastic job of highlighting a lot of the challenges and what has worked to overcome those challenges that you should expect in building your business. And I think there's just a lot of gold in that interview. So please take the opportunity. Otherwise, have a fantastic weekend. Next week is Thanksgiving here in the United States. I will not have a call, an office hours call next week, as I will be off horsing around for Thanksgiving. And for those of you who are celebrating it, I hope you do as well. And enjoy your time with your friends and family. And we will see you back the following week. However, you'll hear from me. I'll be in touch. All right. Darren says, great job moving to communities. Thank you so much. Darren, I haven't even stuck my head in there yet to see you. So I'll have to do that today. But thank you. And congrats to my team, because they're the ones who did it all for me. So I appreciate that. Awesome. Everybody have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. And we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.